their time to save lives. And now, as our newest state-of-the-art hospital ship sets sail, Mercy Ships will double our ability to reach children and adults who need us now.
Without the work of Mercy Ships, these patients don't have another option.
Mercy Ships is answering the call to serve suffering people who have nowhere else to turn. Together, we are going to some of the world's most desperate places and bringing a wave of hope and healing to those who need it most.
Thank you! Thank you!
To learn more about this wave of hope, go to mercyships.org today.
Mama, what does the chicken say?
Chicken. Oh, okay.
When the wolf?
Oh, a wolf. Ooh!
What about the tiny dog? Cat. Owl.
Ooh.
Dolphin? What does the turkey say? Whale.
No, whale sound.
Do the giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Okay. Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/
the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The YMCA is just a starting line. For the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick below the surface. Y is the before-work hustle, an after-school home, a section of my block, a corner to call my own. With my Y, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. It's a million faces in a mirror, and everyone belongs. Find your why. Join today at ymca.org for a better us.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Are your feet stopping you from being active and making it difficult to get healthier? Wouldn't it be nice to work, walk, and play pain-free again? Trade in your bad feet and start the new year with good feet and get healthy in 2024.
Live from the Hoopy Insurance Services Studios, this is WKJG 1380 AM, 100.9 FM, The Fan, Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is a presentation of high school sports on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. The Hoopy Fieldhouse High School Coaches Show. Learn more about the Hoopy Fieldhouse, now available to schedule practice times for your league or team at hoopyfieldhouse.com. Now here's your host, Justin Kenny.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the final High School Coaches Show presented by Hoopy Fieldhouse of the season. We started way back the week before, week 1 of the high school football season, and here we are, couple days away from wrapping up the high school basketball season for the boys, and we have plenty of state finals talk to come this evening. We're going to talk to Kyle Neddenriep of the Indianapolis Star here in just a couple seconds. We'll break down not just Canterbury's matchup against Bethesda Christian in the Class 1A game, the lone Fort Wayne area team represented down at the state finals this weekend, but we'll also talk about the other 3 matchups coming up this weekend down at Cambridge Fieldhouse as state championships on the line. We'll also talk to Canterbury coach and really kind of talk about the Cavaliers. We had him on a couple weeks ago about Coach Deric Adams, and now the Cavaliers appearing in their first ever state championship. We know the success that the girls program has had over the years. Now the boys Canterbury program gets down there. We'll talk to Coach Adams and how his team is preparing for the 1A game. And we'll also try to catch up with Alex Stewart, new head coach on the football side of things up in Kendallville for the East Noble Knights, with Coach Luke Amstutz ascending into an administrative role. So plenty to get to here on the final show of the season. And let's kick it off with our buddy Kyle Neddenriep down in Indianapolis. Evening, Kyle.
Hey, good evening, Justin. How are you?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, and hard to believe it's been 2 weeks since we last played a basketball game almost, at the high school level anyway. It feels like it's like a Super Bowl break.
It is, and obviously with the first 2 rounds down in Indianapolis last weekend, but how has the vibe kind of been from people that you've talked to about this break? I mean, it's kind of some people have said, well, why don't you play it at Hinkle, and why don't you play it up in Muncie or something? But from who you've talked to in terms of the impact or lack thereof of the week off?
It depends who you talk. I think the teams that are involved are all sort of playing it as a positive, I would say. I just actually talked to Bethesda about 5 minutes ago, and they're taking it that way. Pretty much everyone, including some who have been battling injuries, and I can definitely understand from that standpoint why it'd be a good thing. But man, I from someone who covers it, and I think from a fan, I have talked to some fans and friends of mine who follow high school basketball, and I don't think it's ideal from that standpoint of losing momentum in the tournament. I think that's maybe the big thing as far as what I've heard from fans anyway. So, that's not ideal, I think, and I think it's kind of been a little bit out of sight, out of mind to a certain extent because of the NCAA tournament going on, and then having this break. So, but I don't know what else you can really do. I know maybe and I was thinking about it too. It's like, well, maybe you could have split the semi-state up and done it back-to-back weekends instead, or something like that. But maybe it's probably too many moving parts and changing the tournament, too much. This is just maybe the easiest way to do it. It's not ideal. I don't think it's the end of the world. I would be curious because it was 3 years ago, that they had the COVID year, and they had the tournament. All the tournament was here, the NCAA tournament, and that was a 2-week break. And then the fans weren't fully allowed in. It was just not a very good shooting game. I don't know if that had more to do with fans not being there fully or the break. So I would be curious to see from that standpoint, kind of what the shooting numbers look like on Saturday. But I don't know. It's not ideal, but I don't think it's not the end of the world or anything.
I wanted to ask you, you mentioned visiting with Bethesda Christian here a little bit ago. They're in their first ever state championship game. The Canterbury boys are in their first ever state championship game. So give us some details on Bethesda Christian and what we can expect on Saturday.
Yeah, they've kind of been a team that has been kind of gearing up for this. And I think last year they thought they had a team that could do it, and they weren't able to get through. They've had some opportunities, really over the last several years. They've had some really good teams. But this year, they have a young man, Sam Mulligan, who's their leading scorer and actually all-time leading scorer, and wrote a story about him a while back. He broke his brother's record, Jake Mulligan, who is assistant coach now with that program. And, he's a very good player, quick guard, about 6'1" or 2, and and then they've added Luke Douglas, who came in a couple of years ago was playing at Brownsburg, and Bethesda's located in Brownsburg, so they get some kids who are from that area, and then, so he's come in. He's really given them a good shooting 3-point shooting threat from the outside, and then just a good all-around player, and he's almost scoring as much as Mulligan. I think he's 14 points a game, right around there. So. And then they've got some good size. Cooper Jackson's a senior who's 6'8", doesn't score a ton. He's not quite 8 points a game, but really in the tournament they've had Stephen Tierney's really come on and played well. He had 23 points in I think it was the Clay City game in the regional, and he shot the ball really well for them. So that's given them another guard. He's 6'2" junior. Kind of his numbers won't impress you that much, going in, but he's another guy who can really score. And, the big thing for them is they've played a tough schedule. They've played like teams like Tipton and Park Tudor and, Lawrenceburg, Guerin Catholic, New Pal. They've really ramped up at Danville. They played some really good teams this year. So I think that was kind of the idea, is we need to play some better competition, and they didn't play a bad schedule anyway, but have really ramped it up this year and have played well, 23-7 going in. And I know they're very, respectful of what Canterbury's done as well. They were watching some film as I came in, and they know what they're up against, and I think it'll be a tough game. It'll be a really good game, I think. But yeah, Bethesda, I think, confident team. A lot of seniors, and Sam's probably the number one guy, but they've also got some other guys who can help them.
That game will tip off around 10:30, the first of 4 coming up on Saturday. Kind of looking at that 2A game, Brownstown Central, they're trying to secure their first ever state championship game and their third appearance, and first since 2009. Seems like Jack Benter has been there forever. But then Wapahani, their first ever appearance. So Brownstown Central and Wapahani coming up in that 2A matchup.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be, that those two crowds, those two fan bases will they're going to be really excited, are excited. I had a chance to do a story in Wapahani, right after they won the semi-state, and obviously the tornado that came through Selma kind of made that kind of a feel-good story, based on what they've been through as a community, and beating, a really good Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian team that, definitely could be playing this weekend. A big win, obviously, for their program. They've never done this before, and they have a young man, Isaac Andrews, who can really knock down shots. So, I think Brownstown, haven't seen them several times this year. They are the favorite, and rightly so. And even without Jack Benner, which is crazy to think, they've beaten some really good teams. He missed 5 games this year due to a couple different injuries, minor injuries, but injuries that kept him out a little bit. Parker Heeman, their point guard, just a super tough kid, and they've got Chase Coomer, 6'5" junior, and Colby Hall, who's 6'6" junior. Those guys can really play. They're just long. It's a really long team. I think that's probably the key, is how, Wapahani's not as big as them. How do they handle the length and the size of Brownstown? And then obviously Benner. I mean, how do you slow him down? That'll tell the story. He's one of the best players in the state. And not only from a scoring standpoint, but he's a great passer. Just does a lot to help his team win. So, it'll be a fun game. I think those are the best two teams probably in 2A. They're ranked right at the top, and two teams that have a ton of seniors and guys who know how to win games. So it's going to be a fun game. I would probably favor Brownstown, but I think Wapahani's going to give them a good game.
To open up the evening session at 6 o'clock, it'll be Scottsburg and South Bend St. Joe. Before we get to this matchup on the court, you had a very unique story this week at theindystar.com, and you can check it out there, about the Scottsburg Pep Band, or at least I think it was Greg Doyle that wrote that story. But give us details on what's going on with the Scottsburg Pep Band. You there, Kyle? I think we may have lost Kyle. See if we can give him a call back and get some reports on. So the Scottsburg Pep Band is unique in the fact that there is a pastor on the trumpet, a custodian on the drums, a judge on the sax, and I don't know how that's possible. So we're going to talk to Kyle Neddenriep about that, the 3A game and the 4A game. Hopefully here we get back to talking to him, as need to preview the evening games between Scottsburg, South Bend St. Joe, as well as Fishers. Because we're going to talk about Fishers because Fishers has been the class of the state for all season long, especially after they lost one of the best players in the state prior to the season. In fact, in July. So let's take a break. We'll come back, and we'll try to get Kyle back in line, talk 3A and 4A. Also, Deric Adams a little bit later. You're listening to the High School Coaches Show, presented by Hoopie Fieldhouse here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
Here's another remarkable success story from QC Kinetics. This one from Chad, who hurt his knee at the gym one day, and it just kept on hurting for months.
From my high school football and wrestling days, I already had a little bit of damage in there, but this just sent it over the edge.
Chad tried traditional treatments with no improvement when he turned to the non-surgical regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
It was really fascinating how they did their work, and the science behind it was very intriguing, and it works. Extracting the cure out of my own body blew my mind. It's like I'm I'm brand new again. It was fantastic.
That's because the QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments use your body's own healing power to restore damaged tissue in your hips, shoulders, back, and knees, providing long-lasting relief.
Now I'm back at the gym. I'm 100% feeling great.
Now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 260-333-9383. That's 260-333-9383. 260-333-9383.
Co Heating and Air Conditioning, your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, one family owned and still going strong for 60 years. Decade after decade, Co Heating and Air has been known for providing quality heating and cooling services that ensure your family stays comfortable year-round. That's no accident. That's a legacy of customer care, excellence, and relationships that have endured from generation to generation. Go with who you know. Go with Co. Proud to be your American Standard dealer. Find them at coheatcool.com today.
You are listening to the Hoopy Fieldhouse High School Coaches Show on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back, everybody, to the High School Coaches Show. I'm Justin Kenny, here till 7 o'clock this evening, talking area high school basketball. We'll then make way for Sweet 16 basketball wraparound coverage tonight on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM, sweeping around all four of the Sweet 16 games going on. We'll keep you up to date here throughout the evening. We had Kyle Neddenriep before the break. We got Kyle Neddenriep back. Are you there, Kyle?
I am. Sorry about that, Justin.
No, all good. Wanted to ask you about Class 3A and Scottsburg and South Bend St. Joe and break down this matchup because these are I think both teams are looking for their first ever state championship. Is that correct?
Yeah. In Scottsburg, this is their first time getting here, and I actually went down there this season and got to meet those guys, and they play in a really cool old gym. If anyone ever gets a chance to go down there, the Meyer Gym, they call it the pressure cooker, and there's a long story with that, kind of a cool backstory, but it's a neat place, and they've got a really good team with some lineage to their 1989 girls championship team. The only girls state champion they ever had in 1989 was the mother of Wyatt Zellers was one of the star players on that team, and then Renee Westmoreland, his aunt was Miss Basketball that year. So some cool backstory on Scottsburg, and they beat Guerin Catholic to get here in the semi-state, and Guerin had knocked them out last year, so they kind of been planning for that all season. But a team that's Cody Clancy's their leading scorer, second place all time in their all time list of scoring. Wyatt Zellers, like I mentioned, 6'9" senior. Jack Miller, who's the son of the Hanover coach John Miller, 6'6" senior. He can really play. So they've got a lot of size. They're a 1-3-1 defensive kind of deep trapping team. They'll press sometimes, and I'm not sure if they'll press. I'll be curious to see kind of how that matches up with South Bend St. Joe, because South Bend St. Joe can really get up and down and score a lot. So I don't know if Scottsburg will press them or not. Be curious to see how that plays out Saturday night. But yeah, both these teams, and Chase Kinesi for South Bend St. Joe, that name might sound familiar to people. His brother, JR, was a 2021 Indian All-Star. He's playing at Notre Dame now, was a really good player. And Chase is averaging about 20 and 10 per night. So, they'll put up points. They like to run. I think that potentially could be a really high-scoring game, and I think, again, will be a well-attended game. I know Scottsburg will bring a ton, and I assume South Bend St. Joe, they have a really good fan base, too. That'll bring a lot of fans as well. So that should be another fun atmosphere, fun stylistic type of game, and a lot of seniors, again, on Scottsburg who are trying to get this done for the first time in their program history. So a lot on the line, and should be a good game.
The big one coming up on Saturday night, and you wrote about Fishers yesterday, Kyle, at the IndyStar.com, about losing Jalen Harrelson to transfer to go to La Lumiere, and this Fishers team still able to put it together and be the number one team in the state and now get to the state championship game to play Ben Davis. Take us through the sequence of losing Harrelson and still keeping an eye on being one of the best teams in Class 4A this season, and they've been able to fulfill that.
Yeah, when you saw them in June and they had Harrelson, they were pretty clearly 1A and 1B with Lawrence North, I would say, as far as the best teams in the state. Very, very balanced, deep, and then you take Harrelson off, and you kind of wondered, okay, how are they going to fill his void and just everything he does. And Harrelson, in fairness to him, very unselfish player, led him in assists. He wasn't it wasn't like the ball stopped with him a lot. He did handle the ball a lot, and the ball was in his hands a lot, but it wasn't like he was a selfish player. So, I hope people don't get the wrong impression, writing about all this and saying he left and they're better. It's not really, it's definitely less about him and more about the team around him. And I think that's been the player development that Fishers has had is I think the number one reason. Guys like Keenan Garner, who he was a first-year player last year. His family was in the military in Germany, and he'd never even lived in Indiana until last year. Comes there, and he's the second leading scorer last year, and then has really developed into an Indiana All-Star type this year. I definitely think he'll be on the team. But then other guys like John Anthony Hall, who he tried to play point guard last year, didn't really work out. He's continued to develop. He's a football prospect. He's going to be a Division I receiver, but he's become a really strong kind of do everything type of player. Super attitude, just everything you'd want. And then Tatum Metzger, probably the best shooter in the state from the 3-point line. He'll go into Huntington next year. He can. He just burns teams if they leave him open. Like Kokomo, he ended up making 6 threes in that game and really was the difference. But and then they've also had, I think maybe the biggest thing that we didn't know is they've had 2 freshmen come in. Jason Gardner Jr., the son of Jason Gardner, the '99 Mr. Basketball, who started at Arizona. He's come in as a freshman and played a key role. And then Cooper Zachary, also a freshman, has come in and played a key role. Those 2 guys, I think those are the X factors that, we weren't sure what they would be. And together they're averaging about 13 points, and about 6 assists a game. So, between those 2, I think that has been kind of a big key to what Fishers has become this year. You can't really, I thought maybe teams could get out and really press them and pressure them and they would turn it over, and they haven't really done that. So, those 2 have been gamers that have played beyond their years, and I think, that behind player development, I think those 2 freshmen are probably the number 2 reason why they are where they are.
And perhaps fitting, these 2 teams played to open the season just before Thanksgiving, a 13-point win for Fishers, and now they'll meet to end the season. Ben Davis has been there before, was there last year and won it. Can they repeat as back-to-back champions? Do you think they got a shot against Fishers, and what's it going to take?
Yeah, and I've been encouraging people to throw that game out the window because Mark Zachary didn't play. If you remember, that was the week that Ben Davis was playing in the state football championship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he did not play in that game, and I'm not sure why Ben Davis even agreed to play. They probably should have moved it back because they did cancel another game. So I'm not sure why they ended up playing that one, but. Zachary was there. He wasn't in uniform. So, that made a huge difference, obviously. And who knows? Fishers may beat him by 13 again. But I would say, Zachary, the way he's played, especially the last, 5-6 games, he's just been unbelievable. They have that pedigree of a champion. There's something that's hard to put your finger on exactly. But whatever it is, they've got it. Because I felt like Jeffersonville sort of outplayed them on last Saturday in the semi-state, and they found a way to get it done in the end. And there wasn't much to that other than just finding a way. And they had a guy, Justin Harrington, came in, hit a couple threes off the bench in the last 70 seconds, and he only scores about 4 points a game. So they've got KJ Wyndham, they've got Zachary, and then a lot of guys who've kind of been role players. Mark White, who played a lot on that team last year. This team is not as talented for sure as last year's undefeated team, but they might be tougher and they might be more together even than that team. That team was very together. So credit to Corey Taylor, who's come in a weird situation and coached this team and done a great job, and credit Zachary and Wyndham for being really vocal leader. You don't find high school kids who are as vocal of leaders as those 2, and they've done a great job with this team. And I don't think a lot of people expected them to be here necessarily, but yeah, I'd give them a shot. I would never count that Ben Davis team out. I think they'll give Fishers all they can handle.
Kyle, before we let you go, I wanted to ask you this or throw this at you. You're used to around the football state finals, and people are like, oh, it's the same teams and such, and we see it in basketball too. 4 of the 8 teams playing on Saturday earned their first ever state championship. 7 of the 8 are looking for their first ever state championship in boys basketball. What's that tell you? Is it a bigger thing than what it is? Is it a smaller thing? What do you take out of those numbers?
I think, I don't know if it's a trend or if it's anything like that, but I think it's definitely a good thing. I think that's what we're going for in all of these sports is to create opportunity, at least the opportunity. It may not always happen that way, and you're going to have, because of coaches and because of programs, you're going to have teams that come back a lot. But I definitely think it's a good thing. We talked about Wapahani and Scottsburg and places like that. Just think how fun that's going to be for those teams. I think back to Frankton and when they made it, and the crowd that they brought, when they made the state championship. And you see that sometimes. Just it's kind of a culmination for a community to get to that point. So I don't know if it's a trend or what, or if it's just a fluke or whatever. It seems unusual to me. I don't think that's normally the case, but I think it's a cool thing, and I think hopefully that it continues on. And I think in the smaller classes sometimes, I know the private schools, especially in football, that's something we talk about a lot is the private schools dominating, and I think that sort of in 1A this year that was sort of the case. I think 12 of the 16 that were remaining were private, and that seemed high to me, but yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's a good thing. I know Bethesda just being out there today, it's something they've never experienced, and really cool for their small school, and I think a lot of people are feeling that this week.
All right, buddy. Hey, appreciate the time, and thanks for all the insight, and have fun watching these games on Saturday, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Justin.
That was Kyle Neddenriep of the Indianapolis Star. No one better in the state of Indiana and perhaps the Midwest in terms of covering high school athletics. Does a great job. And you have Kyle on, and you can ask him anything about any of these teams in terms of the state. He's done the research. He's done the stories. It's not just the teams in Marion County and the surrounding area of Indianapolis. He's great at what he does, and love to have Kyle on. So he was able to preview all 4 of the state championship games coming up on Saturday. When we come back, we'll zero in on the 1A state championship game between Bethesda Christian and Canterbury, and we'll talk to Deric Adams, head coach of the Cavaliers, as he preps his team for its first ever appearance in the state championship game. We'll talk to Deric after this. You're listening to the High School Coaches Show, presented by Hoopie Fieldhouse here on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Here's a great way to save money on your prescription medications. If you take Viagra or Cialis, we can give you a way to pay as little as $2 a pill. Compare that to prices as high as $60 per tablet. These pills work for men and women to improve their sexual performance. And now for the price of 2 or 3 pills, you can get nearly 100. There's no need to pay expensive prices for Viagra or Cialis. Call now with your prescription and pay as little as $2 a pill. We offer 24/7 service and always free delivery and confidential packaging. Change your life for the better and have fun. Call Pharmacy Shop 24/7 to get generic versions of Viagra or Cialis for as little as $2 a pill, plus free discreet shipping.
Call 800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. That's 800-245-2751.
Basketball fever is at an all-time high this month at Winner's Circle in New Haven. Drink specials start on Thursdays and go all weekend long. $2.75 drafts and buckets of beer for $20. Plus, enjoy 10 wings for just $8.50. Make your bets on games and get cash in hand when the game ends. No waiting on transfers. And come see the horses that can qualify for the Kentucky Derby race each Saturday up to the Kentucky Derby on May 4th. Join in the betting fun at Winner's Circle Race Sports Pub in Lutheran Health Plaza on Minnick Road in New Haven.
Attention all business owners and marketers, mark your calendars for April 9th at 2 p.m. because we have an event that will transform your marketing game. Join us for the second edition of Marketing Mic Drop, where our marketing experts will reveal the secrets to winning big in business. Picture this, a mini marketing panel delving into the power of sweepstakes. Discover the untapped potential that lies in incorporating sweepstakes into your marketing efforts. It's not just a game of chance, it's a strategic move that can elevate your business to new heights. Our seasoned panelists will share insights, success stories, and proven strategies that have propelled businesses to success. Learn how to captivate your audience, boost engagement, and grow your business. So why wait? Our mini marketing panel discuss all the ways that using sweepstakes will help your business win big. Register today at federatedmedia.com or text SWEEPS to 46862. That's federatedmedia.com or text SWEEPS to 46862. This webinar event is sponsored by Federated Media. New ideas, old values.
Welcome back to the Hoopie Fieldhouse High School Coaches Show on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back, everybody, to the High School Coaches Show. I'm Justin Kenny. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll make way for NCAA basketball. Sweet 16 games coming up at the top of the hour, and throughout the evening, it'll be wraparound coverage from Westwood One as they bring you updates from throughout the evening, all four games, and basically jump around to where the high drama is. So you can stay tuned to that starting at 7 o'clock, top of the hour, previewing some of the Sweet 16 games tonight. We talked to Kyle Neddenriep before the break, broke down all four of the state championship games coming up at Gamebridge Fieldhouse on Saturday. To talk more about the 1A championship game, head coach of the Canterbury Cavaliers, Coach Deric Adams. Evening, Coach.
Good evening, Justin. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. And I have to ask you about this because I always find it fascinating reading the stuff about the state tournament and the interesting things about the coaches, personally or professionally. Mm-hmm. We saw Greg Jones do this several years ago. He's a longtime writer with the Journal-Gazette, got out of journalism, went into teaching. I think he's still Bishop DeWanger. You were the morning news director for Wayne 15 for 27 years before taking this position at Canterbury High School. Take us through the career change and what went into that decision.
Yeah, interesting. You know, that's the absolute truth. I spent a good majority of my younger years at Wayne and absolutely loved it and loved the business. You know, it's funny. When I took that job at the age of 24, I had no desire to get into coaching, and I've got some coaching folks in my background. My father assisted my high school team when I lived up in Michigan, and I saw the things that he went through, and at that point in my life, I decided that I had no desire to coach whatsoever, you know, my collegiate path led me to the idea of getting into television, and loved doing that. But at 24, I was kind of pulled into the coaching realm by a good friend. Started out with a seventh grade girls team, and it just kind of progressed from there. I was here and there, done some AAU coaching, coached at a high school in Michigan, and you know, did quite a long stint as the eighth grade coach, you know, here at Canterbury. And you know, in my time at Canterbury, I fell in love with the school. I fell in love with the community and all that they represent. And you know, for me, it was an opportunity that was presented a couple years ago by our current head of school, Mr. David Jackson, and they were kind of creating a position, an auxiliary position, and at the time, you know, we had also had a young man that I kind of was in the school there. Rob Westfall was the head coach, and I assisted Rob for 1 year, and Rob had decided because of family concerns and family time, he wanted to step away, and Mr. Jackson kind of offered a role, and I jumped at the opportunity because I've like I said, with the Canterbury community, and it's somewhat amusing to me because just the other day I had a conversation with a young man who assisted me way back when I was handling the eighth grade group, and you know, we talked about the idea of interest in the varsity position and what we would like to see it do. And I remember telling him directly, if I get that position, we're going to state. That's my plan. And it's just so crazy to me because God just brings you full circle, and He's brought us to this point, and I can hardly believe it, quite frankly. I'm kind of pinching myself a little bit that these dreams that were set in motion years ago have kind of come true.
Yeah, it's just a great story for sure for you, and it's been a great run for your team throughout the postseason and knocking off Liberty Christian by 3 to win the semi-state championship and the program's first ever appearance in the state championship coming up on Saturday. How has the break been? You get a week between games, very different but necessary because of the NCAA tournament down in Indianapolis. How have you guys treated this extended break?
Yeah, quite frankly, it's with some normalcy, and I say that because I just mentioned this to another gentleman the other day, and he kind of looked at me in disbelief. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that just kind of joke and say, no, there's no way. But when we talked last June as a program, in June when we're finishing up our June schedule with the boys, I generally have started to map out our schedule starting at the beginning of September with conditioning, and I mapped it out all the way through the 30th, and with intent to plan practices as if we were going to be in the state title game. And it's funny. It kind of hit me after we finished up the semi-state on that Saturday because I looked at our schedule to see what we had next, and I came to the realization that we had planned on giving them Sunday and Monday off because of the dual nature of semi-state now, and we wanted to rest their bodies and then Tuesday get back to work. And quite honestly, that's exactly what it was. We got back to work on Tuesday, and I credit my guys. They have not missed a beat, and they are dialed in, and they are focused, and I think it's because we've spoken about it all season and even prior to season.
Coach, when you look at the matchup, Bethesda Christian, also the first time that they've ever been in this situation. What have you seen on tape and scouting, and what do you guys need to prepare for?
Yeah, they're a good ball club. You don't rack up 23 wins without being a good ball club, and they beat some real tough, highly ranked opponents on their way to state. You look at a Bar Reeve and a Greenwood Christian that they take out in semi-state, and you're kind of amazed. It's at times I looked at some of the statistics and I watched a lot of film, and it's weird. I feel like there's a mirror effect. A lot of the things that they concentrate on and do well, I think, are things that we also do well. We've got to be us, and we've talked about that all season. We like us and the things that we're capable of doing. And if we do those things, I think the rest takes care of itself. I think, I think they're a very, very good ball club. But, we've talked previously about our schedule, and I think our schedule prepares us for anything we could see from them. And so, for us, it's not the idea of preparing for them, but just preparing for everything that we've talked about throughout the season. We'd go back to game scenarios where we might have seen something similar from a Wayne or seen something similar from a Northside or something along those lines. And I think that's prepared us for anything that they could throw at us.
When you look at you guys in particular, and it's an all senior starting lineup, I guess, how does that help preparing for a game of this magnitude? Knowing, okay, you have 5 experienced players out there, and maybe they handle the moment a little bit better than maybe a junior or sophomore or freshman can. Is there a bit of comfort there, or is it still kind of an unknown on how your high school players are going to handle the moment?
Yeah, no, I think there's an absolute benefit. It's guys that have been through the rigors and guys that have been through, varied situations. And I think that level of maturity as a senior allows you to play in a little bit of a calmer realm than what it might be for somebody that's a little younger, a little bit less experienced, and not been through some of the scenarios that the seniors have. And that doesn't mean that I don't trust my younger guys, because we've got some younger guys that do really, really well. And but I think those seniors kind of set the tone for those younger guys, and I think they bring an element of calm to them as well. I am absolutely blessed with 8 seniors on the roster, and they each contribute in a different way, but they all contribute in one special way, and that's that experience and calm that they bring.
When you look at the matchup, and Bethesda Christian's also senior laden, 4 of their starters are seniors. When you prepare for this and trying to get the kids ready, there's nothing that can really replicate the moment of coming out onto the court at Cambridge at 10:30 and playing in a state championship game. Is, I guess, what is the message to your guys going to be? How much do you try to treat it as just another game, despite knowing it isn't?
Yeah, we understand there's going to be nerves. I mean, let's be real. They're 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, and even as seniors, like I say, if they bring that calm, there's still going to be some nerves, and I expect that, and that's okay, because that lets me know they care. That lets me know they're involved and they want to be 1A state champions, and I think that's massive. Just that understanding of how bad they want it, and how hard they've worked for this. I take nothing away again from their senior laden as well, but I just, our guys mentally have just bought in from day one, and honestly, it's of that mindset that iron sharpens iron, and we've got some really, really strong personalities that are heard on a daily basis, that really put our guys in a good mental state. And that's something we've preached, and you just said it, is, hey, when it comes down to it, yes, the venue's a little bit different. There might be a few more bottoms in the seats. But when the ball is thrown up, it's doing the same things that we've done on a daily basis since most of these guys were in middle school or even, elementary school. It's how do you handle the ball? How do you pass the ball? How do you catch the ball? And we've stressed that throughout. And I hope that they understand that, they're all fully capable, and that's what's going to come down to is those capabilities.
Coach, final question for you. Canterbury's had plenty of success over the years in girls basketball and on the soccer pitch. What does it mean for this program to just get to this moment, to get and qualify for the state championship game? It'd be great to bring home the big trophy, but what does it mean for the program of boys basketball to be able to get this far for the first time ever?
Yeah, it means everything, and I think it's first and foremost, it shows growth. A lot of folks, will say what they're going to say about, the adding of the 4 guys in the midseason, and that's why we're winning and this and that. But, I don't think they take into account some of the difficulties that also presents. You've got guys that maybe take a little bit of a lesser role when these guys step in, or guys that are asked to do something different, or even the guys that came in are asked to do something different they've been accustomed to in the past. And to me, it goes back to the buy-in, and I think that's what it's shown for our program. And I can count, 1 through 34. We had 34 kids involved in the program this year, and 1 through 34, they were all in, and that's what we need. And again, I think that brings us back to that point of growth, and at least puts us on the map as a team that can get to this level, and we don't want to be finished. We would love to go down there and top our season off with a single A title, but we don't want that to be it. We want it to be something where we're competitive every year, and we're knocking on the door for those opportunities for sure.
Coach, I appreciate the time. Thanks a lot for joining us, and good luck on Saturday. Enjoy the moment, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate you having me on, Justin.
That was Coach Deric Adams, Canterbury Cavaliers, joining us. His team For the first time ever, the Canterbury boys basketball program appearing in a state championship game. They will take on Bethesda Christian. 10:30 will be the tip-off here on down at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. You'll be able to hear that game here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. 10:30 around tip-off time is when we'll begin coverage, maybe a little bit before for a little pregame show. But we'll be down there to catch Canterbury and Bethesda Christian, two teams not only going for their first state championship, but first state championship game appearance for either team. So good luck to the Canterbury Cavaliers. They will 10:30 against Bethesda Christian. We'll come back and we'll talk to the new head football coach up in Kendallville, the head man of the East Noble Knights, Mr. Alex Stewart. He'll join us after the break. You are listening to the High School Coaches Show here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
Where have we learned what it takes to be committed to something bigger than ourselves?
To understand how our actions impact others.
To always put the team first.
High school sports. I'm Grayson Mealy from Westdale High School.
And I'm Keela Hanazeski from Penn High School. While we want to win games and be successful for ourselves, the commitment we have to our teammates means we want to win for each other.
We always give our best for each other.
We want to help each other achieve something great.
Whether that's carrying on school traditions, being a positive example in our community, or winning a state championship.
Our commitment to our team, our school, and our community is the reason for everything we do.
I am IHSAA Commissioner Paul Nardi. You can show your commitment to being a champion of high school sports by buying a ticket to your school's athletic events. This is committing to your team. This is committing to high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
Get the latest knife info from one of the country's premium knife shops, Blade Man's Knife Shop at the Shops of Scott Road. There's a reason customers drive hours just to shop at Blade Man's in Fort Wayne.
Hi, this is Mark, the owner of Blade Man's Knife Shop, and I'd like to personally invite you out to the store to see the area's best selection of quality knives. We have Benchmade, Spyderco, Microtech, ProTech, Hogue, Zero Tolerance, Medford Knife and Tool, ADV Tactical, Tour Knives, and many more. We also have a great selection of custom knives. At Blade Man's, we specifically select top quality products for the best in customer satisfaction. There's a difference with top brands, and at Blade Man's, we'll take the time to explain how materials and production results in a better knife for your needs, all in a relaxed, pressure-free, consultative environment. We update our online inventory daily so you know you're ordering in-stock product that will be shipped within one business day. So check us out on BladeMansKnifeShop.com or stop by the store in the Shops of Scout Road and have a cup of coffee on me.
Be in the know and follow Blade Man's on Facebook and Instagram today. 10% discount to police and military, and now you can see the collection of Shun knives, the finest in kitchen cutlery, available at Blade Man's Knife Shop in the Shops of Scott Road.
If you've been channeling your sales strengths into a job that doesn't appreciate your potential, we understand. Brace yourself for an opportunity that might just surprise you at 1380 The Fan. We're in search of an exceptional account executive to join our dynamic team. It's not just a job, it's a marketing career where you'll shape solutions for local businesses, driving their success while building your own. Experience the best of both worlds with our mix of in-person and remote work, offering the flexibility you crave. Our investment in your success begins now. Text WINNER to 46862 and take our free talent assessment. Discover if you have what it takes to be our star account executive. We'll send you a free copy of your talent report. Text WINNER, WINNER, to 46862 and kickstart your journey to a new career home. 1380 The Fan is proudly part of Federated Media, an equal opportunity employer that values integrity, passion, and innovation. Embrace a new job for a new year with us.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the best glass company of them all?
I'm the Magic Mirror, and the answer to your question is a simple one, you see. When it comes to specialty glass, call City Glass Specialty. The area's choice for custom glass, including shower doors, mirrors, and custom framing since 1944.
So, Magic Mirror, how do I reach them?
Visit cityglassspecialty.com or call 260-744-3301 today.
The Magic Mirror is right. City Glass is the best glass company of them all. If you're looking for a new shower or tub enclosure, City Glass has framed or frameless to offer the ideal solution for your remodeling project. You can choose from a wide variety of glass designs with matching hardware, and they can custom create a mirror to complete the unique look of your interior design. Located on Calhoun Street, 3 blocks south of the Oyster Bar, City Glass Specialty specializes in matching products to your bathroom remodel vision.
This is the Hoopie Fieldhouse High School Coaches Show on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back, everybody, to the final high school coaches show of the season. We started off the week before week one of the high school football campaign, took it through state finals of football, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that. Now we're here 2 days away from the boys basketball state finals. We broke things down with Kyle Neddenriep of the Indianapolis Star. Also, we're joined by Deric Adams, head coach of the Canterbury Cavaliers, playing for a 1A state title on Saturday morning. But it's never a bad time to talk football, and we're going to talk some Kendallville football, some East Noble Knights football with the new head coach of the East Noble Knights, Mr. Alex Stewart, who's joining us right now. Evening, Coach.
Evening. How are you?
We're doing well, Coach, and congratulations on getting the East Noble job. It's one of the, we consider one of the best jobs in Northeast Indiana. You had a good career down in Western, and prior to that, Northwestern. What made the East Noble open position so wanted by you?
Well, first and foremost, it's a proud football community. When it's a football school that I've always had a lot of respect for, and always followed them, and they've had a ton of success up there, and it's just a proud football tradition up there.
And when you look at it coming down from Western, and I remember I worked down in Miami County early in my career, and watched a lot of MIC football, the other MIC, the Mid-Indiana, where Western was in, and now you guys, of course, are in the Hoosier. But in terms of what you're bringing up here, your experience and bringing up from Western, what can people expect?
So I've had 9 years of head coaching experience, 2 at Northwestern and 7 at Western. I believe, first and foremost, the mission of our program is just going to be to build champions for life through football, really to help the young men become quality people and learn how to work hard and care about each other. And, I believe as you take care of a lot of those things, that the wins and losses are going to take care of themselves.
You look at Western that's had a proud tradition in coming from there to here. And are there some similarities coming from where you were now to where you are?
Yeah, I believe so. I think East Noble's probably had a little bit more tournament success than Western's had. In the last 25 years, East Noble's been at the state finals 3 times. And, that's something that's extremely exciting. And then, when I visited East Noble and checked out the facilities, and you've got a turf football field, you've got a great weight room, the locker room's gorgeous, and then you can just meet people and they're just glowing and beaming about the community and about the football program. It's extremely exciting.
Coach, have you met with the players? How did that go?
Yeah, I met with the players. I was announced on Wednesday evening at the board meeting, and I was able to get up there Thursday, and we had a team meeting at about 7:30 on Thursday morning, met with the team, and then I spent a little bit of extra time meeting with the seniors, and that went really well. And then I was able to meet with a lot of the coaches and spent some time with them as well. And then I spent the whole day in the building and went to lunches, had a chance to talk a little bit more one-on-one with some of the players, popped into some of the weightlifting classes and had a chance to talk a little bit more with the kids there. And then I went over and met with the middle school players and the middle school staff as well.
Most of the time when you become a new head coach somewhere, the other former head coach has departed. Instead, you have Coach Luke Amstutz, former coach, now an administrator. How much does that help, having Coach Amstutz still around to really kind of guide you when you need it?
Yeah, that's an incredible resource. Luke's a great head coach. He was a great head coach at East Noble and really helped to solidify the tradition that was built there over the last 12 years. And he did a great job. And, it's kind of a unique situation because, like you said, most of the time the head coach is leaving and they're moving on. They're going somewhere else. Well, he's in the building, and he was actually part of the interview process and part of hiring me to be the head coach and hiring me as his replacement. So hopefully that helps the kids, feel a little bit better about me coming in, knowing that, Coach was on the committee that helped to pick his replacement, and he signs off on it. So, but he's a great resource, and him and I have already had a lot of great conversation about the way that they've done things in the past at East Noble and just some of the stuff that they've done. from a program standpoint.
Coach Alex Stewart, new head coach of the East Noble Knights, joining us here on the High School Coaches Show, presented by Hoopie Fieldhouse. Coach, some people say, okay, well, he's got plenty of time to get comfortable. We'll see. He'll start getting to work with the kids in the summer, but not anymore. And you can really hit the ground running here in late March. In terms of the priorities that you want to get accomplished between now and maybe even summer, what does that look like?
Yeah, so number one is going to be relationship building, just being around the kids as much as I can. I'm going to finish out the year at Western, but I'm going to try to make it up to East Noble as much as I can. We're going to have spring practices. They've already got those slated for Monday evenings, so I'm going to be up there for those. And I'm going to use some of my personal days and take off and be up in the building as much as I can this spring, just to be around and get to know the kids and try to have more of those one-on-one conversations and just really get them to be comfortable with me. That's number one. Through our spring practices, the coaches and I have talked, and we're going to just focus on fundamentals. I really want to see the kids move and see what they can do on the field before we start making any, major decisions in that regard. But, it's a great opportunity for kids to come in and feel like, okay, this is a new guy, and maybe it's a fresh slate for them. But we're going to keep a lot of the same coaches in place as well. So there's going to be a lot of familiarity as well.
And Coach, in terms of familiarity, is there, in terms of putting together the staff, have you done that? Are you planning on doing that soon? Does it involve maybe some familiar faces? What does that look like? Yeah, absolutely. It's going to involve a lot of familiar faces. There was a great coaching staff in place already. And I've been fortunate enough to meet with most of them or talk to them on the phone. And it's going to be very, very similar from a coaching staff standpoint. We haven't finished, completing the staff yet, but hopefully we'll do that by the end of spring break and move forward, when spring break is over. Once the kids come back from spring break April 8th, hopefully we can have the majority of the staff locked in. But, yes, there's going to be a lot of the same faces on the sideline for East Noble. Coach, I appreciate the time. Thanks a lot. Congratulations on getting the job. Welcome to the area. Look forward to working with you, and you're replacing one of the best that we've had in this area for quite some time. So look forward to catching up with you, and good luck, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was Coach Alex Stewart, new head coach up in Kendallville, East Noble Knights. And most people that are listening know it. I mean, when you talk about tradition, when you talk about game day atmospheres, when you talk about support, community support, there are few programs, few communities that do it better in this area than East Noble High School. And when you're winning at East Noble, they love you. When you're not winning at East Noble, they still love you, but they may be a little bit perturbed about not winning football games. But Alex Stewart taking over after a fruitful career of about 7 or 8 seasons at Western High School down in central Indiana. That's going to do it for us, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in, not just this evening, but the entire season. We started this thing off all the way back in August, and we're wrapping it up. Hopefully we'll be back coming up in August. It'll be just a few months away until we kick off the football season. But as for tonight, thanks to Coach Alex Stewart for joining us. Coach Deric Adams, Canterbury Cavaliers. Good luck to Canterbury down in the 1A state championship game coming up on Saturday morning. You can hear that game right here on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM as Canterbury looks to win their first ever boys basketball state championship against Bethesda Christian. Also, thank you to Kyle Neddenriep of the Indianapolis Star. We kick the show off with him. Great insight on all 4 of the state title games coming up on Saturday. For everybody here at 1380, I'm Justin Kenny. This has been the High School Coaches Show presented by Hoopie Fieldhouse, 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing. Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15s. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit. And make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.
Podcasts by Federated Media.